Hi, my name's Noah Riseman. I'm the author of Transgender Australia, A History Since 1910, which is coming out on the 26th of September with Melbourne University Press. So, Transgender Australia traces the changing medical, social, legal, and most importantly, the living histories of trans and gender diverse people in Australia from the early 20th century until the present. I had previously done work on LGBTIQ people in the Defence Force, and one thing that was really clear when I interviewed trans people for that project was that you couldn't understand the experiences of trans people in just one institution without knowing the much broader histories, again, the social, the medical, the legal, the living experiences. But that hadn't been done yet in Australia. So this project grew out of that and, turned into a huge project looking at all sorts of trans people's diverse experiences in Australia over 100 plus years. So I usually say it's not safe for historians to predict the future, but I do know that there is huge growth going in the area of LGBTIQA plus history. This book is only one tiny part of it, and I've said in the book, and I will say to everyone, that this is definitely not the last thing that will be written about trans people in Australia. There's so much more out there because there's as many histories as there are people. I learned a lot through the research process. I interviewed over 100 trans people, and every interview taught me something important both about their own lives, but also the more collective experiences of trans people. Going through old media gave really interesting insights into how the media framed particular people's experiences or also framed particular events or stories. A lot of people were very generous to share their personal archives, which included records that were about organizations that either we didn't know had existed or organizations that we couldn't find an archival trail anywhere else. So the journey for me was amazing, and I just feel so fortunate that so many people were willing to share so many experiences with me. So I see myself as an ally to the trans community, and I made so many amazing connections through this project, and some people have become very close friends. I hope people learn from reading this book that trans people have always been here. Gender diversity is not some new fad that just emerged in the last 10 or 15 years. There's some who, through this project, they themselves have started doing their own writing and their own performing, and I've even joked that I should get a commission off their earnings, but then they joke that I can get whatever percentage I want off the $0 that they're making. But no, I've absolutely met some amazing people. Some have become really good friends, and others I've just stayed in contact with through the process.
My name is Sasja Sydek, and I'm a proud trans woman of color, originally from Singapore. And I live here in Melbourne now. I've been here for almost maybe 13 years to 14 years probably, and advocate for trans women and also cis women of color. I do have a radio show called Querying the Air on 3CR, and also I have a TV show called Trans Fabulous on Channel 31 on the Band TV. Noah Riseman called me up and asked me to come into his office, I think in 2018. And he came and said he was doing a bit of research about trans migrant here in Australia. Noah Riseman got in touch with me again last year, I think just before Christmas. And he showed me what I talk about myself, and I said I need to edit this because we need to add more because I've done a lot more since 2018. People are curious about the trans history and what trans people have done, especially the trans elders who paved their way for the new generation of trans people to have a better future now. And from my advocacy, I use my platform to amplify a lot of trans elders' voices because I just feel like they are the forgotten generation. So this book is in line with what I'm passionate about. So this book tells about what trans people have done, like advocacy or maybe changing the law. This is the reason why we need to have their stories in a book and for people to know about these people who have pioneering in the society.